Sports Radio 66, my son.
The Fan.
WFAN.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan. WFAN, New York.
All right, let's go right to Madison Square Garden. Our very own Outside the Cage podcast team of Pete Hoffman and Ike Feldman.
Madison Square Garden and New York City gets the fastest rising sport probably in the world.
If you like chaos,
You got it.
you certainly got it. Championship belts in 2 weight classes at the same time.
We're going to do everything that we said we would do when we got to New York.
Looking for that knockout punch. And boom.
This is Cowboy, and you're listening to WFAN Outside the Cage podcast.
This is WFAN's Outside the Cage. And no Pete. This is Ike introing. Pete is on his honeymoon currently. Congratulations, Pete.
Yeah, congrats.
And Pete, you're going to notice that's Matt Casey and that's Cara Ann Galante talking. And bro, congratulations. We're so happy for you. Obviously, I know it was killing you that you couldn't make UFC 210 in Buffalo. But we'll talk in person about that. It was a fantastic time. Plenty of stories to tell you. But folks, that's at the Hoff WFAN. We are at _outside the cage. I'm at Ike _CBS. Matt, what's your handle?
At Matt Casey WFAN.
Gara?
At K Galante 94.
All right, great. And guys, obviously we're on YouTube. Guys, we point.
Hey guys.
And we point again. There's 2 cameras. So by the way, this is why Pete does the intro. We have Rose Namajunas coming in studio. We have Robert Whitaker over a crappy New Zealand connection that we couldn't figure out, but eventually we got to thank the guys for Mike Francesa, Mons. Does he have a first name?
No, I don't think he does.
Thank
He's
you,
like
Mons.
Madonna. He just goes by that.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Kara, you didn't see the fights.
No, I
UFC
didn't,
210.
unfortunately.
Matt, you saw the fights.
Locked in, brother.
So let's get into it, dude. The headliner, we'll start with that. Daniel Cormier rematching Anthony Rumble Johnson. What was your first take on it?
I've never been more disappointed in a fighter than I was in Anthony Johnson. That was so disappointing.
Sound like a stepdad.
The build-up to that fight, I thought he was on the warpath for the title. He was knocking everybody out in his way. And he comes out and does the same thing that he did in the first fight.
But obviously, dude, DC's only lost to one dude. It was John Jones. I mean, why do you think everybody's sleeping on DC? Boom, and then
I think it's because of his stature. I think he's a short, little pudgy guy, and fans want to be entertained. He's not the most entertaining fighter. He's more of the wrestler, grappler, and the fans paid it. They want to see blood. They want to see a knockout.
Dude, exactly. You say that Daniel Cormier's style is the born grounded out. But we saw early on that Rumble was striking, being Rumble. But then all of a sudden he wanted to friggin' wrestle and try to beat DC at his own game.
It was so strange, man. He threw that kick, broke Cormier's nose, and then I don't think threw a punch after that. He just pressed him up against the cage. He did take him down a couple of times, but again, did nothing. Cormier's wrestling is so good that he just got right back up, and they hugged it out some more. So Rumble even won the first round.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I think that's when he broke it, right? With the shin or with the...
kicked him right in the face and broke his nose, and then he would have took him out if he connected on the next kick. Cormier ducked it, and then, again, it was just a...
But did he win a fan in you? That the DC, Daniel Cormier...
I admit, he's very good, obviously. He's just maybe not my cup of tea. So he's a champion for a reason.
So what do you think he should do next? Because obviously he busted up his nose. John Jones was in the audience and didn't come into the ring. And I thought that whole thing was pretty friggin' stupid. John Jones said in the presser the night before, he goes, I don't want to go into the ring with DC because I want him to hold the belt for a little bit longer and not take away his spotlight. And then DC, the most awful, I don't even know if that fits in a sentence, but the most awful trash talker, he goes, yeah, John Jones, don't come in the ring. I don't want you to be. And I was like, no, you got to tell him to come in the ring because if he came in the ring, he broke his word.
No,
he can't figure it out with the media.
He said bad things will happen if John Jones comes in his octagon, which John Jones...
I guess that was a challenge.
John Jones beat him down in their fight, man. It wasn't really that close. And Cormier's on this kick that he's like, it's a matter of time.
He said he fought with a lot of emotion, though. and understandably because they really freaking hate each other.
Yeah, and he cried his eyes out after he lost to him, too.
Ooh,
So
that's
you're
not
going
good.
Jones when this happens?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
I hope it does happen. I hope it's the next fight in the division for the title.
All right, so let me ask Kara this.
What?
A fighter is
Yes.
the best of all time.
Okay.
Has never freaking lost. Only lost by disqualification.
Okay, what type of disqualification?
An illegal elbow, but he finished the guy.
Okay.
So, but he's still technically undefeated. He partied his ass off, like a rock star.
Okay.
Cocaine lifestyle, tested positive for it, tested positive for steroids, had a couple of car accidents where they found a bowl.
Like a Floyd Mayweather type.
But even worse.
But worse, okay.
He hit in his car, a pregnant woman in the other car, and
Oh my
ran away.
God.
This guy's undefeated. Now, on the other end, you have this very kind.
Yeah.
He's an analyst on the desk. He is an Olympian. I believe he placed third. He lost to one of the greatest of all time. He is 18-1. His one loss is to fighter A.
Okay.
Which fighter do you want to win now in the rematch?
18-1.
The guy who doesn't have the run-ins, but he's not the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
All right. So you pick Daniel Cormier.
I do.
The sweetheart.
I do.
Well, that's how it is, man.
I get it.
People boo DC, and he's cleaned up, and they boo the guy who smokes weed, does coke, does steroids. His brother popped for Chandler Jones for Zona, I believe Arizona,
Yeah.
popped for synthetic marijuana. Arthur Jones, his older brother who was in attendance, popped for DUI. And people just keep cheering this guy up. Or are we a time that we love skill over, what would it be, responsibility?
I think so.
Yeah, we are. Especially in the NFL too. That could be something to attest to as well.
When a guy can
Skill,
go down.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kara.
No, like being a professional, your skill overcomes your personal life.
That's true.
So
That's true.
if John Jones never fights again, is he considered the best of all time?
In my book, tied with Anderson.
Okay.
Because of the knockouts.
But that's why he's 28 years old and he's already looked at as the greatest mixed martial artist to ever do it. And the fans admire that. I mean,
Are you the father that's going to love the kid who hits the home runs, but hate the kid that could get his homework in on time?
yeah. Sports first, kids. No.
But anyway, dude, moving to the co-main event, our boy Chris Weidman, we had him in studio last week. Weird finish. Now, you saw it on TV, so I would like to know your perspective. I was in the stands with our boy Robbie. Yes, I said our boy Robbie. Everybody lay off him. Saw it in person, so maybe we obviously couldn't see it up close. What did you see from the TV angle?
The first knee was clean as anything. That second one, it was so close with Weidman's hand being on the ground and the knee connecting. It was like simultaneous that whatever the referee's decision was, it should have stood instead of the doctors coming in and then waving off, the rest of the fight. It was like a photo finish. You couldn't really tell.
Dude, I 100% agree. Like, you can't do instant replay in a sport that's based on cardio because you give it 3-minute break.
Yeah.
Joel Romero becomes a beast again. If you can drain a guy down, which Weidman was doing, taking him down, but then you got to go with the ref's decision. Ref Dan Mergliotta, he said it was an illegal knee.
Yeah.
And was Chris playing the game, do you feel? 2 hands up, 2 hands down? Or because Mousasi, he had to know that his hands down should have. But I'm totally with you that they should have went with the initial call.
Right.
Then none of this happens.
He kind of lifted Weidman's body up to kind of clear his hand off the canvas, but
yes, in the instant replay we were seeing that. Dude, this isn't the NFL. That's what's pissing me off.
And then Weidman, he seemed coherent after like a minute or so when he came. He was sitting down on the mat for like a minute or two, but he seemed, I'm ready to go. I'm good to go. And then they came in, the doctors waved their arms off, and he looked confused, like, why is this happening? But I mean, I haven't heard the talk about him being dazed and not knowing where he was and stuff like that.
That's what I'm hearing rumors now that people ask him questions.
I didn't see that on the TV. He
when's your birthday? He said January. He was like,
yeah, I have no idea when his birthday is.
Saying like Pink Floyd or something.
Right.
He was
But
way off. But what would you want now? Obviously, the dust is settled. Dana White's pissed that he had to answer all that. Do you want the rematch? Should Gegard move on to the next level of Yoel or Rockhold? Because obviously we know the UFC is coming back to New York in July. Maybe that's enough time for Weidman. But in your opinion, what do you want?
I mean, while the middleweights are all waiting around for Bisping and St. Pierre, why not have a rematch?
I 100% agree.
And we'll see who the better man is, because Weidman's lost 3 in a row now, and he's been stopped 3 times in a row. So, I mean,
technically, I guess, 3 times.
Big shout out to Chris Weidman for coming on with us.
Seriously, appreciate it. And Gegard, we're going to have you on 100%. I want him to call out Weidman for the rematch. You know, I would feel dirty if I was in his position. Obviously, he's earned the right to do whatever he wants, but I want the rematch.
He did say he would be open to it, but then he also said he thought Weidman was looking for a way out of that fight.
You know what? This is the time where the UFC needs to pay a quiet guy who gets his stuff done to take the rematch. Sure. Weidman's definitely making maybe $500K, and he's maybe making $150, $300 at most. Pay the man, both them equal, maybe even a little more for him taking the rematch, because he deserves it, man. He's been on fire.
Yeah, let's hook it up one more time, see what happens.
Agreed. Well, guys, that's we talked about UFC 210, the top big fights. Coming up next on WFN's Outside the Cage, in studio, at Rose Namajunas. Don't screw up her name or she'll screw up your elbow, arm, knee. That's coming up next. But first, YouTube. Kara, Matt, what up, guys? You can curse now. Fuck.
Oh, great.
Shit, bitch, ass, fuck.
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
You said enough for all of us. But... Come on.
Okay, shit.
That was weak shit. All right. So, one of the fights that we saw, Pearl Gonzalez versus Cynthia Calvillo.
I think it's Calvillo.
Oh, these names.
We'll roll with it. Lay out the red carpet for the explanation for this pre-fight.
Yes. New York State, as we've learned, doesn't allow women to box if they've had breast implants in their past. But apparently mixed martial arts is a little different. There was talk of the fight was going to be canceled because of said breast implants, but Dana White put the squash on that real quick. Said, if you don't hear from us, it's BS.
Yeah, but why does New York State have to dictate what I want to do with my body? If I want to go in the rink, I should be allowed to go in the rink.
They said their concern was if it was to rupture.
Yeah, but that's my concern, though. It's my health. So if I decide...
They were a decent size, so...
They're probably looking out for your best interest, maybe?
Yeah, but I'm looking out for my own best interest if I want to go into the ring. I don't think New York State should dictate to me and tell me, well, I can't fight and pursue my career if I did this to myself.
You can fight, you just can't fight in New York.
Well, she lost. So after all this commotion, she lost.
So she still fought and she lost.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe it was on her head. Yeah, she got dominated, outboxed, outgrappled. And I was saying to Robbie, we still love you, Robbie. Still love you. 20 minutes in, I still love you. I told everybody I love you. I was saying that if she won, Pearl Gonzalez, who had the surgery, that she would have been on Ellen DeGeneres, she would have been on Oprah, like I feel like, and they would have just she would have been on Vanity Fair.
It'd be a huge media tour.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been fighting again. She would have millions of followers, but she lost, and it was just so weird. We're seeing the UFC these awkward events happen. Literally, the TKO. We see the boob job, and then we see 2 guys retire. It's just What's your initial take on MMA now that you're getting more and more involved? Is there any story that you like? You asked Rose Namajunas, guys, check that out. Kara asked a couple questions to Rose. They were awful. And
wow, so check that out.
I was being sarcastic.
Yes, I know.
But she asked her about her kids for some reason. Well, Matt, let's start with you. What's your take on MMA? Now it's legal in New York, and we're going to try to be a part of it with it in MSG again in June and Nassau in July. Check us out. We'll be a part of it. But what's your feel, man? It's been a couple events in New York.
I'm into it, man. I first got involved with MMA when the first Ultimate Fighter with Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin finale. I was obviously you and Pete are more, I would say, hardcore than I am, but I'm coming along as far as knowledge and knowing strengths and weaknesses of certain fighters. Like I told you off air, I'm more of a fan of the heavyweight, light heavyweights, just because I'm a taller guy, heavier guy. So that's just.
How tall are you?
6'3", ladies and gentlemen.
ladies,
if you're looking for a 6'3",
clean shave, tape up, 6'3", takes
producer,
beautiful pictures, and take a punch from Francis Ngannou.
I do a little bit of everything.
But what's your take now, Kara? Your initial. I don't even know if you have an MMA take.
No, honestly, I'm fairly new to the sport. I just started also following boxing about a year ago, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the atmosphere, nice. And I love how the Invicta FC and women are being more of a force in the sport, too, and they're being more recognized. I feel like there's a lot of more recognizable figures in MMA than there is in I don't know, like softball or any
Do you have
other
a favorite
female
woman
sport.
fighter?
Well, it's very mainstream. I'm going to say Ronda Rousey because she is pretty badass in what she does, and she doesn't take shit from anyone. But, yeah, she's one of my favorite fighters out there.
That's 2 curses, people.
Yes.
But
FCC.
On the record over here.
Yeah, FEC, if you are listening.
Yeah, I am so
please
sorry.
find us. We have nothing.
We'll take care of that. Don't worry.
We'll give you the camera. But anyway, so you had we had Rose Namajunas in studio.
Yes.
And you asked her a couple questions.
Yes, I did.
You got her to answer the couple questions, surprisingly. Sarcasm. What's your take on now interviewing your first fighter? And did she change the impression or stereotype?
She changed like the perception of it, because when you think of a fighter, you think someone who has such a tough exterior and tough personality, but she was so sweet and so personable, and I really enjoyed getting to know her with the short amount of time that we've had. And yeah, I think the stereotype is pretty much washed away, because you have to play off this character at times to get people to talk about you and to get your name out there in the media. So just to see her outside of that element was really interesting.
Awesome. And her soon-to-be husband's a fighter. And,
yes.
Pat Barry. But Matt, what got you? What's your impression? Because Matt interviewed Robert Whitaker, who's fighting also the fight before Rose against Jacare. Have you talked to fighters before?
As far as interview-wise, no. That was first timer.
Guys, he's got fantastic pipes. Obviously, you heard by now. But
yes.
You see how polite they were? Obviously, there was a delay because we were trying to figure out the New Zealand area code.
Yeah, that was the trip, man.
I fucked up. I'll take the whole blame for that.
Yes, it's all Ike's fault.
Yeah, Robert, not your fault, pal. Don't worry about it.
I know it's not. Shout out.
He gave us 6 minutes of intense nothing.
But please don't hate us.
Hey,
we're really sorry.
Poker face, man.
For real. But what's your are you happy that it breaks the because dude, your boy exactly, Anthony Rumble Johnson. When I heard him on the podium,
Rumble.
He's one of the smartest, most cerebral fighters
very well
ever
spoken.
heard. And it's the stereotype that he's got to probably always deal with, being the heavy-handed.
He looks like a maniac in the cage.
Yeah, no racism connected at all. She meant this totally innocent. She's like, when he's banging on his chest, she's like, that's like King Kong. She's like, this dude's a demolisher.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah. And then you hear him speak. He's a gentle giant.
Yep.
So what's your impression of MMA fighters in general? You have
they're human, but they got a crazy side to them to step in that cage and slug it out all the time.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna try to train more to get?
No, I think I'm
heavy
fine.
Bag that's in your
just
area?
a spectator, man. That's it.
Yeah, I just like to watch the sport and not participate.
That's a great. I'm glad you like to watch, because do you guys get bored with the grappling? Because I know you're hating on DC.
It can. I mean, like I told you, the fans they come to see action.
Yeah.
That's what Connor's blowing up. Obviously, Anderson Silva, John Jones, the finishes.
And I should scale that back a little, because I was a big Brock Lesnar fan, and his
Thank you.
his
Boring
everything,
as hell. You realize this dude doesn't knock out anybody.
His everything was wrestling, and then I kind of wanted to see how he would do as far as making the jump from the WWE, and I thought he was an okay fighter. I think we could admit. Once he got up against some tougher competition, he kind of got the business, but. I don't know. It was part of me was seeing because everybody was he's a fake wrestler. He's gonna get his ass kicked. I wanted to see him succeed. He did initially. I think he jumped the gun a little early on a title shot, but that was just his popularity.
Got it though. It was crazy. He went for it,
and then he went up against Velasquez and
went downhill from there.
Yeah,
any final words you guys got about today, about Pete? I know we should say
Pete, all the love, bro.
Yes, good luck,
love.
Pete.
Just keep talking.
We miss you, man.
We miss you.
We miss you. Wish you were here.
Congratulations. Hopefully Norma's taking care of you.
Norma.
Yeah, we'll just call it Norma. We'll have a code name Norma.
If you need any more time off, we're more than happy to jump in here for you.
And dude, what the hell on the Instagram? Get the kid off the Instagram.
Yes, Pete. This is a professional environment,
What
Pete.
are we doing here? What are we doing? Congratulations.
Yeah, but congratulations.
What the hell are we doing?
No more Instagram stories of little kids, man.
That is not right.
But guys, thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, bro. Anytime.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. I'm having a blast.
You guys watch the Dan Patrick Show at all?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I watched Colin Cowherd.
You see how many people are in the room?
Yeah.
There's like 7 people, and they make it work.
Yeah, they do.
We have
It's a
dynamic
well-oiled
mix of
machine.
personalities.
Yes, we do.
Sarah, Matt, Isaac, Pete, and Robbie Rosenhaus. Guys, we He could be the heel. Trust me on this. Trust me. We're putting together a cast of characters.
Jeez, you're making it seem like we hate the guy.
So, yeah, Robbie's a good guy.
Big shout out to Robbie.
Robbie,
shout
love you. We're going to get you on in between segments to
Good
talk
job on the
about
coverage,
our-
too, up there, by the way.
Yeah,
with the
dude,
Snapchats
fantastic
and all
job.
that.
Yeah.
But,
Twitter.
guys, that's...
Yeah, we did it. This was like
handle.
our
What's your handle?
My Twitter handle? KGalante94.
It's hilarious, apparently.
You know?
Matt KC, CASCY, WFAN, Instagram, OG_Matty C.
He's not here, but remember him at the Hoff, WFAN. We're at _outside the cage. I'm Ike _CBS.
Are you sure?
At Robbie Rosenhaus. And don't distract me. Check us out.
Yeah, check us out on all.
Hey, man, do yourself a
Instagram. This is
favor.
why
Check
Pete
us out.
does this. This is why Pete does
Just only thing you gotta do is Google WFAN outside the cage and things just magically pop up on
You'll see a SoundCloud that doesn't exist.
Yes.
But
just listen, and I hope you guys enjoy.
yeah, guys.
Team?
1, 2, 3.
Ah.